This was such a rushed portion of a reunion. This was crazy to me. Like every time they started to really talk about something or really like get into something, Carlos would cut it short. What was the point? We didn't need this. What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We are here today to talk Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 9, Episode 16, the reunion part 3, out with a bang. Before we get started, I want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you that has been here all season, that's been watching, that's been subbing, that's been sharing, that's been commenting. We've had a very chill, very chill comment section. So I appreciate all of you guys for being respectful, for being responsible with your comments, for just not doing the most, okay? If by chance you are here, okay, and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video. Make sure you guys check out some of my other content. Ready to Love, Married at First Sight, Love is Blind is starting. I'm doing traders and whatever else is gonna pop up soon because it's always something on TV. All right. So let's go ahead and get started, y'all. So the episode kicks up right where the last one left off, where Martell is joking that, yeah, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Me and Trisha did sleep together. And Ken doesn't think it's funny. And I don't think it's funny either. Because when you have a situation where people are speculating that you might have slept with somebody else, what does it benefit you to make a joke about it? Do I believe that Martell and Trisha slept together? I 1027.258% do. I think they did something. I think they messed around to some capacity. I think Martell came into this beginning of this season seeing Trisha at Stormy's house and being like, I'm just going to act like I don't know this lady. And because Trisha is weird, she didn't pick up on those social cues. That's what I think happened. So Ken is like, I don't think it's funny. And my issue is that people see him do stuff like that and they don't take it as a joke. They take it as truth. So that's where Ken is coming from on some stop doing it. Stop doing it. So Martell just sits there. He doesn't say anything back. And Melody is like, oh, you don't have nothing to say to this man? This man? And I said, okay, so Melody is about to start antagonizing him. Okay. So she's basically insinuating that Martell only argues with the females. Now, I don't know if I agree with that because Martell argues with everybody on that stage, but I see what Melody was trying to do. Just kind of fell flat for me. Okay. Fell flat for me. So Martell was like, well, Ken hasn't been disrespectful. And Maurice is cracking up and he gets mad at Maurice for laughing. And Maurice is like, she made a joke. It was funny. And Martell is getting mad. Then it turns into whenever Melody says something, and it's like, Martell, what's going on? Baby, do we need uppers or do we need downers before we come on? What is happening? Martell gets so mad when he's called out on stuff and then he flips it and says, well, Melody does too. And it just kind of takes away from it because it just makes you look more guilty. Yeah, Melody can be an asshole too. Yes, Melody antagonizes people. Yes, Melody instigates and does all that stuff as well. But we're talking about you right now, baby. We're not talking about nobody else, right? So Carlos asked Martell if he believes that he owes Ken an apology. And Martell said, about what? Carlos is like, dum what we just said, like that you're making jokes and you're doing all this extra stuff about it. And Martell is like, I haven't made any jokes. And everybody is like, you just made a joke now. So Martell starts yelling. Nell is like, stop yelling in my damn ear. I don't know what Nell was on, but she gets on my nerves. So Nell starts yelling, talking about some quit yelling in my ear. Martell is like, well, get up and move cease, and I ain't got to do nothing. And I'm like, damn, Nell, your husband don't ever defend you when it comes to Martell. And I think the reason that Fletcher lit to Martell talk to Nell crazy is because Martell has dirt on Chris. Because there's no way that my father would sit and let another man talk to my mother that way in front of him. The way that Martell be packing Nell up is crazy. So Carlos, it's like he gets everybody to simmer down. And Martell was like, look, Trisha looked different at Stormy's house. That's really all that is. That's why I didn't recognize her. So Carlos said, okay, well, Martell, you also said that you feel or you felt that Trisha did not look as good back then as she does now. And that's why you didn't want to sleep with her. And Martell is like, he kind of made a face. So then Melody was like, okay, Chris, didn't you say that Martell asked you about good looking women at the gym? You described Trish, told him Trish's name. He then went and looked up Trish and then booked Trish to help him work out. And Martell was like, don't answer that. And Nell was like, nah, tell the truth. So Chris goes and gives his same little story about how he was in the gym, whatever, whatever. And Trisha was like, well, we were supposed to work out at, at the clubhouse. This is a fancy neighborhood. They got a clubhouse. So that's where we were supposed to go. So Carlos says, so let me get this straight. You knew that this was a married man, yet you were still willing to do a house call to train him to work out. You don't train people at gyms because gyms have equipment and sanitizer and all this type of stuff, and houses have couches and tables. I said, damn, Carlos. So Trisha looks stupid because this doesn't make sense. So Trisha wants us to believe that in the small town of Huntsville that she didn't know who Martell or Melody was. Trisha, stop that shit. Now, if we're talking Chicago, New York, Atlanta, LA, Houston, sure. But Huntsville, I've been to Huntsville. I have been to Huntsville. Yes, everybody knows everybody there. Stop that. So then she's like, well, I've never seen the show. So if you've never seen the show, how are you on the show? Who invited you to the show? Who you know on the show that invited you? So you've never seen the show, but you're somehow on it. Trisha, that doesn't make sense. You're such a bad liar. You are a weird ass bad liar. So Ken is like, I've never seen it either. You're a man. Nobody expects you to watch this. But I was with Carlos, so you've never seen it. So then Ken is like, well, Martell set up Trisha to look like a loose woman. No, she set herself up to look like a loose woman. She set herself up to do that. So he then said that no man's intentions would be just for, this woman to come and train him. And I agree with that. Like, let's be real. We're adults. We're all adults of a certain age. Everybody on that cast is a good looking person. Most people on that cast are good looking people. So let's not I'm gonna be real. I think Trisha's weird, but she's a gorgeous woman. She's a beautiful woman. Martell is handsome. He's annoying as fuck. But Martell is a good looking man. So I can fully understand what was going through each of their minds when that exchange happened. But whatever. So Ken said that his issue is that Trisha kept lying about the Martell thing. So he was like, she would beat around the bush. She doesn't really answer things, but he does 100% trust her. He said, but she just has a weird way of communicating and telling the truth. Martell does not think he owes Trisha an apology. And then said that he did not make any insinuations or jokes that they messed around, but he you just did, Martell. Like you literally just did, but okay. They bring Marquez out, and here's the thing. I still have my same stance when it comes to Marquez, Ken, and Trisha. Ken and Trisha antagonize Marquez. They know how to get Marquez worked up to make him appear as the loose cannon that they want him to be so that it makes Trisha feel better about it makes Trisha and Ken feel better about the way that they clearly talk about Marquez in front of their kids. So just the mere sight of Marquez has Ken and Trisha just irritated. And Marquez said that he has always been present in his kid's life. I don't know if I believe that, Marquez. I don't. He said that the issues with Ken have alienated him from being the father that he was, said that they exclude him from certain situations. Now, that I do believe. I do believe that there are different things that involve the kids that Ken and Trisha plan and do not involve Marquez. I 1,000% believe that. But Marquez, if you are not living in Huntsville, baby, what are they supposed to do? Wait what is it, like a 4-hour drive for you to get here? Like, come on. So we find out that Marquez and Trisha were married in 2016, and he moved to Atlanta no. That's wrong in my notes. They were married in 2006 because they were high school sweethearts. Married in 2006, he moved to Atlanta in 2021. Marquez said that Ken was in Trisha's DMs saying he wanted to lick her like a lollipop. Shout out to Lil Wayne. In 2016, Ken said, "Well, I let your son drive your car to go see you in Atlanta. Your son drove my car." And I'm like, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? What are we talking about here? See, what I've noticed is that the way that Ken likes to make himself look like a better man than Marquez, the way Ken wants to make himself look better or just feel better about himself, is he feels like he has to punch down on Marquez. You got to punch down on him because what exactly is the purpose of Ken always talking about money when it comes to them kids? Right? You're in the house with them. Yeah, we're expecting that you spend money on those kids. Talk about how you took your son to practice. Talk about how you're sitting in the backyard throwing the football, working on this, that, and the other with their kids. Talk about how you're at every dance recital for their daughter. I don't want to hear about the fact that Ken is paying for stuff. So what? So what? A pimp is gonna pay for shit too. That doesn't mean they're gonna treat the children with respect. I would be more on Ken's side if he was like, I'm doing this, that, and the other for your children. I don't care what you're buying the kids. Marquez can get money. That's the thing. People can go and get jobs and get more money. People can take out loans and get more money. What are you doing for these children that Ken should be applauding you for? Because let's not act like Trisha doesn't work. She's an engineer. So she makes decent money. She makes money. So it's not as if the kids are going to go hungry without you, Ken. And that's the way that Ken is making it seem. And I'm like, if that's your only angle, it does look like you're just doing this to look like the good guy. It doesn't seem like you're doing it because you honestly love and care about these kids. But it is only 2025. So if y'all have been together for what, 2 or 3 years or however long, and you're in this deep and you feel like you are well within your rights to call this man's kids yours, that's a problem. That's a big fucking problem. So Trisha said that Marquez has only seen his kids 2 or 3 times since Mimosas with Melody. I 1,000% believe that. Ken and Marquez are yelling back and forth, so Marcel switches seats with his wife because Letitia was sitting next to Ken. So let's make sure don't nobody get to, rumbling, and fighting and all that other type of stuff. So Marquez wants Ken to stop playing like he's the kid's father. And I will say this too. I do think that the way that Ken, and I know people disagree with me on this, but remember, I'm on everybody's side and nobody's side. The way that Ken does refer to Marquez's kids as his own, and he's disrespectful about that, is a problem. I would think it's a problem. Now, I am not a child of divorce. I tell people that all the time on my channel. My parents are still married. So I don't know what that dynamic is like personally, but I have friends that are products of divorce. And is one thing that I have noticed is, or that I can tell, is that a child is not going to suddenly latch on to another man. Not like that. Not for real. Especially with Marquez saying he talks to these kids every day. And Trisha and Ken did not deny that. Now, I'm not saying that that is enough for Marquez, but he clearly has some type of relationship with his kids. So the fact that Ken likes to say he is those kids' father, that's bullshit. And I think it is solely meant to be used to antagonize Marquez. when really the issue is Trisha because she should have been the one that's getting a divorce, but she's letting this whole thing with Ken and Marquez play out as a reason not to move forward. But Ken is too stupid to see that. So Marquez said that that co-parenting with two narcissists will never work. It's three narcissists because you are just as much a narcissist as they are. Marquez, you are because you say a lot of wild shit, my boy, a lot. So he then said that he talks to his kids daily on the phone, and Kimmy is like, okay, so are you talking to them daily? What do you pay for? Do you pay for dance? Do you pay for this? Do you pay for that? And I was with Maurice, Kimmy, this is not your conversation. If you want to give us a list of things, give us a list of things that happened the night that Maurice got arrested. Otherwise, shut up, Kimmy. So Maurice, or excuse me, Marquez said that anyone that wants to be a bonus father isn't talking about monetary stuff all the time. And I agree. I agree with that, y'all, because like I said, anytime Ken talks about those kids, it's about I bought your kid a car. I paid for this for your son. I gave you money. It's never yeah, your son was getting bullied at school, so I went up to the school and talk about it. It's never oh, baby girl needed some new ballet shoes or whatever type of dance she does, and so I was there. I was the one that was taking her, 2 hours away, driving her to this other practice facility so that she could learn this, that, or the other. Ken's not doing that. Ken is like, well, I paid for the car. I paid for this. I'm sending your kids money. Shit like that doesn't impress me. It just doesn't. It does not impress me whatsoever. So Ken then says that he doesn't have any beef with Marquez, and then said, as the mother and father of these children, and I'm like, now you're antagonizing him, and now you're just being an asshole, Ken. And it didn't make you look any better because we think you look stupid. Ken it's like smirking and stuff while he says it. Marquez gets all hyped up. Kimmy asks Marquez, don't you want someone in your life that is going to take care of your children? There are different ways to take care of children. Again, Trisha is not a poor homeless woman that got taken in off the street. This woman is an engineer. This woman trains people. She can provide for her kids if Ken was not there. She can. So Marquez said he does not respect Ken. Said that he has God in him. I said, Marquez, it's not showing. Marquez then said that he has audio of Ken saying that he isn't shit. He stands up. Ken is like, you better sit back down. You ain't gonna do nothing, Ken. So Carlos comes over and it's like, we are asking questions to let you tell your side. Marquez feels that they aren't listening to him. And I agree with Marquez. Y'all aren't. Because Carlos, you're not using this to let him tell his side. You're using this for the drama. You brought him out to exploit him because y'all want to see this man because Trisha has says that he gets, all worked up, then he starts crying and all that type of stuff. That's what Carlos wanted because he thought that that was going to bring in views. If you honestly and truly wanted to let Marquez tell his side, you would have asked a very different set of questions. So he's like, look, let's switch gears. Marquez, I hear you have a crush on Melody. And I'm like, so are we not? Okay, Carlos. And Marquez is like, no, I'm not interested in dating. I just have an admiration for her and like kind of her business savvy, her business, whatever, whatever. So he's like, I just want to talk to her about business. And Melody was like, that's true. Whenever we do converse, whenever we have conversed before, it has solely been about, business ventures and stuff like that. Ken said this is the same thing as Martell and Trisha. What? Melody was like, no, it's not because I didn't go to his house. So then I'm like, Ken, what in the fuck? Like, what? So then Marquez starts saying something about Martell, and Ken is like, but if she did sleep with him, it was before me. Ken. Oh, Oh, good God. Marquez then said Trisha doesn't even want to marry you. Ken was like, okay. No, she don't. She don't want to marry you. And you know that, Ken. You know that. She said it numerous times on this past season. But okay. So Marquez is telling Trisha that she needs to heal because they're going back and forth about who signed the papers, who got them, who has to file them, whatever the case. All that tells me is that Trisha is still dragging her feet about this divorce. When was this filmed? Wasn't this filmed well over 30 days ago? Okay. So Marquez then said that Trisha needs to heal. Ken said, I'll be the one to help her heal. All right. Marquez wants to give Melody her flowers. He gets on bended knee to ask her about having a business meeting. Whatever. So the ladies are all on stage and everybody raised their hand for having fun on the ladies' trip outside of Nell and Destiny. Why didn't y'all have fun? Nell gets on my nerves. I do not like Miss Nell. Nell gets on my nerves. I don't think Nell is a good fit for this show at all. Melody said, look, I think it was a good trip. It was top notch. Everybody had fun. We did a lot of stuff together. We ate good. Like, Melody thought she did a really good job with the trip. Tisha said, well, I feel like I should have gotten a better room. The room then just shows us how you feel about her. Kimmy said that it was disrespectful and she feels that she got caught in the crossfire because Tisha invited Destiny. I will say this, Kimmy, I think you did just get caught in the crossfire, but I also feel like Tisha, you inviting Destiny and kind of being shady about it shows how you feel about Melody too. Because if you wanted to invite Melody off rip, if you wanted to invite Destiny off rip, you should have told Melody, hey, was Destiny invited? I would like to invite her. You didn't do that, so you got the room that you deserved. I also kind of feel like when it's a free trip, who cares about the room? It just wasn't that big of a deal. I'm glad they didn't harp on it. I just don't think it was that big of a deal, personally. So Nell then makes a comment that said that Melody compared herself to Jesus out on the beach or something, and then said that Melody's head has blown up. Mel said, well, there have been many conversations where Miss Nell has said that I am the queen and everybody needs to play their role because this is my shit. Nell starts talking about how she has always mentored her. And I said, I do not give a flying fuck. I am so tired of hearing Nell talk about this mentorship. I Lord have mercy. Let's be very real. Let's be very real. Do you think that Melody is a good product of your mentorship, Miss Nell? Like, if somebody said, what's an example of somebody that you have mentored? Is Melody your first example, baby? Because she shouldn't be. She should not be. So what is happening? So then Melody is like, look, I appreciate you. Okay, I hate that I offend you. I appreciate our friendship. Like, she did everything but get on her knee and kiss Nell's feet. Because, like, what is the issue? This was a horrific season for Nell. Oh my God. Carlos then switches to Destiny, and Melody brings up that Destiny mouthed an apology to Melody, remember, after dinner when Destiny was coming up the stairs. Destiny said, no, I told her I'm sorry that I had to do that to her. Well, you didn't have to do it to her. You wanted to because you wanted some attention from her. So Destiny feels that a narrative was created that she was moving too fast, trying to get back into her good graces and be back friends with her. And Melody said, well, it was overwhelming. Everywhere we went, she was by me. She was always sitting by me. We saw that one episode that when Destiny came to the table, she made, I think, Sunny get up. She made somebody get up so she could sit next to Destiny. Sit next to Melody. Melody is like, Destiny kept whispering to me, kept talking to me, kept asking me stuff. And Destiny is like, well, you were texting me. Melody said, because you kept talking to me. Carlos does not get to the bottom of this and he chooses to move on. Why? Why didn't we explore that a little bit more? I guess they have a surprise person coming out. They ask Martell who the surprise person is. He said Melody's boyfriend. That turns into some shit that we didn't need. Who cares about your boyfriend, Melody? It's not that big of a deal. Melody said maybe it's Lance. They took it as shady. She was like, it's an open seat next to Destiny. That would make the most sense. Marceau said maybe it's Miss Wanda because the chair was dark. He's such an asshole. The way that Tisha lets this man talk about her mama is crazy. And then finally it's Stormy. So Stormy comes out. She is not pregnant, but they have identified a surrogate. So hopefully by sometime next year she will have another member of her family. So good luck to her. She then talks about why she walked away from the show. So life got busy. Remember, Stormy was on TikTok and she did with $1 million in sales while live. So she broke that TikTok record, and she is now the number one live selling person on any platform, which is huge for her, which is awesome. So she's been busy. She says she's between New York and LA. She's doing still doing a lot of stuff with TikTok. Canvas Beauty is blowing up even more. Stormy was a name. Canvas Beauty was a thing when she came onto the show. She was like, then on top of it, just like the fan base, and people are crazy. Y'all know that certain members of the show have fans that just do too fucking much. And it's not worth getting arrested. It's not worth your mental being constantly effed with. It's just not worth it. So I don't blame Stormy for, exiting stage left. So that was it. They then have a moment for Kiki, and Tisha put together a memorial for Kiki. And she basically says, look, she's only concerned with her children. She wants to keep that relationship going because she was always close to her kids. At the end of the day, Tisha's like, look, Kiki was my cousin. She was my first cousin. She was my sister cousin. Y'all don't know what went on in our relationship. All y'all know is what y'all saw on the show. And I 1,000% agree with that. It was far too easy for some of us. And I feel like I'm guilty of it as well. I put myself in there. Far too easy for some of us to watch what was happening on this show and say that Tisha was wrong or that Kiki was wrong. We don't know the ins and outs of their relationship. That's their family business. We watch the show 1 hour a week on TV. Some of y'all watch everything that they ever do because y'all are real in the thick of it, but we don't know. At the end of the day, that is Tisha's family. We find out that Stormy paid for the funeral. She said it was on her spirit to reach out to Kiki's husband and do what she could. She's financially able to. She had a certain affinity towards Kiki. I've seen a lot of people saying, well, why didn't Tisha pay for it? Why? Like, I don't understand, y'all. Like, why do y'all do stuff like that? Why didn't Melody pay for it? Why didn't Maurice pay for it? Why didn't Carlos pay for it? Why didn't Own pay for it? Why can't it just be Stormy paid for the service? Shout out to Stormy for that. She did not have to do it. And just let it be that. And then they end with a toast and they say, see y'all next season. Some of y'all. Let me know what you guys thought about this reunion part 3. I personally just don't think that it was necessary. To be real, I feel like it was not kind of, it was rushed. And I heard that they're already filming again. Like, why? Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.